feels like a painting by anonymous Bosch, who is known for the distinctive texture of his canvases, among other things. The glint doesn't glint when you hold your finger on it. Inspecting the painting carefully, you note the bloody quality of the red pigment and recall that Bosch was known for the use of human blood in his paintings. It's an actual skeleton key glued to the painting as if it's being held by one of the skeletons. That Bosch was a stickler for realism. This skeleton key is inscribed with eerily articulated markings, the weird orthography of a long-dead tongue. It offers no clue as to what it unlocks. Pandora's box, perhaps? Jeepers! The shiny key on the painting even feels real, probably because it is. Although you have a natural attraction to shiny objects, this one is firmly attached to the painting and obviously can't be removed by hand.
Oh dear! I find bones quite distressing, Miss Bow. Why isn't that one of those darling little Egyptian thingies? Oh, I'm sure there's nothing on that to concern us, Miss Bow.
Good evening, Dr. Carrington.
Good evening, Miss Bow. Good evening. Talk to Dr. Miklas about that if you want to know more. She translates hieroglyphs as a hobby. We have many exciting paleontological specimens here, Miss Bow. Talk to Dr. Miklas if you're interested in learning more. Yes. You'll see that symbol throughout our Egyptian exhibit. It seems to be a staple of ancient Egyptian theology and philosophy. Miss Bow, I read for pleasure. I can't imagine Dr. Carter would possibly have written anything personal that I would find the least bit interesting. There's a fellow who gets the job done. You can't help but admire his industriousness, eh what? What a tiresome fellow. I take quite a narrow view of fanaticism.
When you touch the painting, you smear a bit of the paint as if it's still damp. It's an expensive work of art on display in a museum. Your father would be appalled if he knew you wanted to touch it. Overcoming your temporary insanity, you change your mind. Don't touch the nudes. The white marble bench feels cold. You recall from your physics class that marble has a low specific temperature. This makes you feel like you're in the old masters gallery. You're not that tall.
Hieroglyphs are the ultimate form of written communication. To know them is to know the power of Thoth, who created them for the people of Egypt. It is truly a language of the gods. I'm not in the mood to indulge in idle chit-chat, Miss Bow.
What happened to the pretty gold ankh you were wearing at the party?
I have no idea. I seem to have lost it. I'm not familiar with this person. Dinosaur bones do not interest me. They are not Egyptian in origin. I don't care about the scribblings of that son of a camel. I'm sure whatever he wrote is a lie.
You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Yvette's office. What a handsome fellow. Let's see what the plaque says. Caesar Augustus, BC 63 to AD 14. Octavian, great-nephew and adopted son of Julius Caesar, he assumed the name Augustus after his sound defeat of Mark Antony left him supreme master of the Roman world. He was the first of the true Roman emperors, not counting Julius, who didn't live long enough to enjoy the title, and established the Pax Romana throughout the empire. His wife murdered him with a poisoned fig. He was a pretty nice fellow for an emperor, and everybody missed him. It's made of marble. It's made of pitted marble. It's made of fine Corinthian marble. Upon close inspection, you determine that it is indeed a wall. A close inspection reveals that this is not real marble. It's an imitation marble invented by Claudius Brutus Apollonius Biggus Blimpus Maximus, known to his friends as Fatus Rotundus. Fatus was ahead of his time, since the world was not yet ready for synthetic marble. Fatus also invented radar, but nobody knew what to do with it. Radar technology was then forgotten until World War II, and Fatus never got any credit for it. Fatus Rotundus died in obscurity, his genius unrecognized. What perfect burnishing! You can't imagine how long it must take to create a thing of such beauty. You feel a blush creeping over your face as you look at the perfect body of Rodin's famous thinker. Oh my, he looks dour. Let's see who he is. Tiberius, BC 42 to AD 37. Tiberius disliked most everyone and practiced the strictest economy with funds devoted to public amusement. Consequently, most everyone disliked him. Although he was perceived by the upper classes as a suspicious, ill-natured tyrant throughout his reign, he ruled the empire with a firm, capable hand, and Rome prospered. He was most probably smothered by his nephew Caligula, although no one is quite sure to this day. Nobody missed him. Oh dear. He looks somewhat dissipated. Let's read his plaque. Caligula, BC 37 to AD 41. Caligula started out a decent enough chap, but shortly after he became emperor, he was seized with a severe illness which unsettled his reason. Consequently, his name has become a byword for frantic cruelties and insane imaginings. The grotesque atrocities of his reign were ended when he was assassinated by the Praetorian Guard in a grimy tunnel beneath the Colosseum. Nobody missed him either. This short, blustery man reminds you vaguely of President Roosevelt. despite his diminutive frame, his bearing is self-assured and cocky, and his pince-nez only adds to the aura of distinguished snobbery. The geometric pattern of the tiles on the floor, which remind you of a late Roman mosaic, and the general style of the room with its marble statuary, is a definite reminder that you're in a museum. It's a rather attractive wall. This room is practically immaculate. Even under close scrutiny, you can't find any dust. The transom makes you suspect that this door leads to somebody's office. This is the door to Yvette Delacroix's office. Feels like cool marble. Tentatively, you touch the cool bronze. It feels as smooth as it looks. It feels like it's part of the downstairs hallway.